Good morning, Year 5. Welcome to your Tuesday's maths lesson. Please record today's date and learning objective to subtract two mixed numbers into your book and underline that with a ruler. Then record your flashback for numbers 1 to 4 and your time in your book. Pause the video while you do this. Let's see how you did. Pause the video while you use your blue pen to mark your answers, please. Then we're ready to move into today's work. So today we're going to be subtracting two mixed numbers. Let's get ready with some warm-up questions. Pause the video here while you try questions 1 to 5 by yourself. What do you notice is happening? Can you make links between the answers? Let's have a look at how you did. Number 1 is fairly straightforward. 4 subtract 1 is 3. Number 2, 7/12 subtract 1/6. Let's have a look at that one. We'd have to change 1/6 by doubling the two parts into 2/12. So 7/12 take away 2/12 is 5/12. Well done. Did you notice that on number 3, we've got 4 take away 1, just like in number 1? And did you notice in number 3 that we've got 7/12 subtract 1/6? So we've combined these two to put them together here. So the answer must be 3 wholes and 5/12. Well done if you spotted that. Is there a link still to number 4? How have we got 55/12? Well, 4 times 12 is 48, and 48 add 7 is 55. So 4 and 7/12 is the same as 55/12. 1 and 1/6, remember that changed to 1/6 changed to 2/12. So 1 times 12 is 12, add 2 is 14. So that is equal to 14/12. The answer is 41/12. When you see how many 12s go into 41, 12, 24, 36, that's 3 whole times, with 5 12ths remaining. So we get to the same answer. These are all the skills we're going to be using today. Make sure you're confident with them. If you need to, stop the video and re-look at these questions. Let's move our learning forwards. Now, as you can see here, we have two mixed numbers and we're doing a subtraction. So if we have a look at this, one way we could do it is to put this whole calculation into this part whole model. And then we're going to split it into whole ones, like we did on question 1 a minute ago, and do the 3 whole ones, subtract the 1 whole one in this side. Then we're going to do the 3/5, subtract the 4/15 on this side. And then let's have a look. We've got 3 whole ones and 1, take away 1 whole one is 2. 3/15 subtract 8/15. We have to change that so it's 15ths. 5 times 3 is 15, so we need to do 3 times 3, which is 9/15. 9/15 subtract 8/15 is 1/15. When we've got our two answers, we put them back together. 2 whole ones and 1/15. Let's have a look at another method. 3 and 9/15 subtract 1 and 8/15. Let's look at it as a bar model. Here you can see each whole one is split into 15 pieces. So I have a 1 whole one, 2 whole ones, 3 whole ones, and in the next one I have those 9/15. So it's really clear to see. I'm going to convert those into 15ths. 3 times 15 is 45. Add 9 is 54. 54/15. And if you add up all of these, you'll see that that makes 54. 1 times 15 is 15. Add 8 is 23. So we're going to do 54 and subtract 23. So here I've crossed off 23 of those 15ths, and you can see I'm left with 31 15ths. Now 15 goes into 31 twice. You can see I've got 15, 30, 2 whole ones, and 1 15th left. Well done if you spotted that. I'd like you to pause and use those methods, choose the one you like best, to have a look at these ones. Let's see how you did. Number 1, 5 and 9 14ths, subtract 3 and 2 7ths. We need to change this into 14ths by doubling both parts, so that will become 4 14ths. Let's record that. And then let's use our part whole model to split that up into the 5, subtract the 3 whole ones, which is 2 of course, and then 9 14ths, subtract 4 14ths, which leaves us with 5 14ths. We put the two answers back together in the final answer. Let's have a look at number 2. This time we'll have a go at doing it with our bar model. So you can see we've changed it so they're both in sixth. 2 times 3 is 6, so I'm timesing both parts by 3, so we get 3 6. That makes sense because 3 is half of 6. Let's build this as a bar model. So we've got 2 whole ones in 6 pieces each, and then we've got 3 6. So we always build the bar model to match the first number. Then we can subtract 1 and 1 6. So let's change it first into the improper fractions. 2 times 6 is 12, add 3 is 15. 15 6. You can check that by counting up here and you'll see there are 15 parts that are green. Then 1 times 6 is 6, add 1 is 7. 7 6. So I'm going to cross out 7 of those pieces. And you should see that that leaves me with 6 and 2 more, which is 8. 8 6. But looking at my bar model, you should see that that makes 1 whole 1 and 2 6. There you go. And we know that 2 and 6 can both be divided by 2. 2 goes into 2 once and 2 goes into 6 3 times. So it's the same as 1 and 1/3. It's your turn, please, to have a go at questions 1 to 3 on the worksheet. I'd like you to record that, please, in your book, like this. For number 1, neatly cut it out, stick it in, so you don't have to write it all out, and then say, I prefer whose method, and give your reason why. If you have a look at Amir's method, he's doing the part whole model. And if we look at Alex's method, she's converting it into improper fractions first, before finding the answer. So explain which method you prefer and why. On 2A, I'd like you, please, to then go on to record it directly into your book like this. If you pause the video, I've shown you the answer to to 2A first, and you can use that to support you all the way to the end of question 3. When you've done that, come back to me. Let's move our learning forward. From Jack's house to school is 2 1/4 kilometres. From Jack's house to the park is 1 5/8 of a kilometre. And I want to know how much closer is the park to Jack's house. Let's draw that as a bar model. There's the distance to school first, so that's 2 1/4 kilometres. And Jack's house to the park is less, so let's draw that as a bar. And we label it on, it's 1 5/8. So we're looking for the difference between those, which means we're going to do a subtraction. We're going to do 2 1/4 subtract 1 5/8. Pause the video and have a go at this. What do you notice is different about this calculation? It links back to our learning last lesson, breaking the whole. Let's have a look at it together. So if I look at 2 1/4, I need to change that into eighths. So it'll be 2 and 2/8. Now I know that 2 subtract 1 is 1, but 2/8 subtract 5/8, I can't do it like that. I'm going to have to break into one of these holes. Let's have a look at that. Converting it into improper fractions. 2 times 8 is 16. Add 2 more is 18. 18 eighths. And 1 times 8 is 8. Add 5 is 13. 13 eighths. Now you can see we've got the same denominator. It's a simple subtraction across the top. 18 subtract 13 is 5 eighths. So the answer is 5 eighths of a kilometre. Let's have a look at this question again. We could build it as a bar model. Here we can see we've got one hole here, so we could change one of those ones into 8 eighths and add it onto those 2 eighths, because here I've got 8 eighths and 2 more is 10 eighths. So I could record it like this: 1 whole 1 and 10 eighths, subtract 1 and 5 eighths. Now I can use that part whole model. 1 subtract 1 is of course 0, and 10 subtract 5 is 5 eighths. So we get the same answer. Pause the video here and have a go at questions 1 and 2, thinking about which method you prefer to break the whole. Let's see how you did. Question 1. 5 and 1/10 subtract 3 and 3/5. Let's change it into tenths. We'd have to double both parts here, which is 6/10, like this. And you can see here that 1/10 subtract 6/10, I'm having to break the whole. So let's convert it into improper fraction. 5 times 10 is 50, add 1 is 51. 3 times 10 is 30, add 6 is 36. 51 subtract 36 is 15, 15 tenths. We can see there that we have a whole one, because 10 tenths is a whole, and 5 more tenths. So it's 1 and 5 tenths. And we know that 5 is half of 10, so it's 1 1/2. Well done. Let's move on to this one. To make it into a common denominator, I'm going to make this into 14ths by doubling both parts. So it'll be 4 14ths. Like this. Now 4 14ths subtract 6 14ths, I'm breaking the whole. But to do 9 times 14 and 7 times 14 is tricky because it's not a times table that we use. So let's change this one into this by breaking this whole. Take one of these holes and make it into 14 14ths. Add this one is 18 14ths. So because we've taken one of those holes away, it's now 8 holes. And that's 14 14ths, add 4 14ths is 18 14ths. Then we subtract the other amount. We can now do that part whole model. 8 subtract 7 is 1. 18 subtract 6 is 12. So that's 1 and 12 14ths. And we know both parts here divide by 2. Half of that is 6 and half of that is 7. So it's 1 and 6 sevenths. Have a go now at questions 4 to 9 on your worksheet. And here's how I'd like you to record it. So you take each one, cut it out, stick it on the left side of your page, and record your answers neatly to the right of those questions. I don't agree with Amir because you can, what can you do? We've just been practicing it in our video. Dora's method can help work it out like this. So you need to explain how Dora's method would help. And then you complete the calculation. I'd like you to keep going all the way to the end of question 9. Then red group and anyone ready for some additional challenges? Here you go. Red challengers. Here's the question, and here's an example of how to lay it out. Here's the question, and here's the example of how to lay it out. You can see the answer from the first calculation needs to be used in the second part of the calculation. And the same with this one. The answer in this part of the calculation needs to be used in this part of the calculation. Good luck with your work, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.